Okay, so I have several rolls of this tape. It's 2-inch tape. I bought it for a dispenser. It didn't fit the dispenser, but it's quality tape. So I'm going to make my own dispenser. Let's start off with the ID on this. It's actually it's just a hair under 1.5 inches by, yeah, just to be sure, it's 1 7/8 wide. Good tape. Then for the column inside, for it to roll on like a toilet roll, we've got conduit here. This just regular conduit. This happens to be 2.5 inches, and I have a feeling that's pretty exact. What's cool is that it fits on here just perfect. Well, I had to force it on there, but it glides on. So when you pull the tape, it's gonna slide real smooth. Hopefully all the other rolls are standard like that. Probably not. So we've got the shaft it'll roll on, the axle, whatever you want to call it. Now I need a base plate. This will end up being my base plate. It's 2 3/8, 1 3/8 wide. So this will fit right on top, and that'll allow me to spot weld it on the inside, keeping this nice and clean on the outside. After I've connected those together, then we'll then the last piece that I have at the moment is a bandsaw blade. Anyway, I'll grind the edges flat so it's a flat surface. Not necessary, but that'll be what the tape presses against to cut it off. The last thing I need to come up with is a platform that this will sit on so that I can put attach this onto. And then hopefully I'll figure out a way to have a bar across the top so that it makes this a little safer. There's not much you can do about it, but you can do a little bit. So we need a platform. We need a base for this to be welded to, making 2 of them. So that's what we have. After tearing a few of these up with that blade, you can see that it's not terribly clean, and it is a pretty rough blade. So what I think I'll do is I will take a hacksaw blade instead. A hacksaw blade would be much more even and fine, and I'll sharpen that up, so this isn't going to work for me. I think I'll end up using this here. The blades are relatively even. Even so, I'm still getting all this funky tear out. It cuts better pulling the tape from one side than the other. Next thing, we need to find a platform. decided I'll use this piece of metal for the foot on this one here, so be a little bit different. All stuff from my previous job. All right, this is what I have so far. Polish this out flat pretty much. There's no ridges on the sides, but that's the cutter. I haven't tried it yet. This here is the men's version of this tape dispenser. Still have to add a plate here with the cutter, and then some sort of a landing for the tape. Once it cuts off, it'll stick to a 1/4-inch rod or something. So we can put the tape on there, and you'll see how easy this goes on there. It does have a little bite, just a little bit, but that's helpful, and it pulls out relatively easy. See what it looks like so far with this. Again, I still have to sharpen this on one side. That'll probably finish it out to where it'll work like a real thing. I didn't get the rest of it on tape, but I found a piece of scrap metal that made a stand back here. It's almost like a T-shape behind the blade there. Then I took the blade, cut it into pieces, 2 pieces, and I ground a little U shape in the middle so I could weld on the sides and then penetrate in the middle and get it stuck pretty well. Here's the other with a little gape in the middle, so I can tack weld that in the middle and then on the sides, give it a little bit more bite because I can't weld up on top. It's all being welded on the bottom. So if you look here, it's got a bevel on this side and flat on that side, so it really has a bite to it. The angle's a little bit off. This should have been a little higher, and you know, had I taken time, it would have probably worked better, but it's not bad. I'll show you how it works shortly. So here's the other one. We'll tack the edges, and then the bottom here, and then the middle. Okay, that's it. Pretty dirty, but it should work. It works.